Ivan and Antoinette arrived at a large underground space. It was a forgotten part of the Dreadford subway that was abandoned a long time ago. It had plenty of sitting spots and a pulpit. A large pool full of blood was the centerpiece, and a large standing mirror decorated the back of the space overseeing it all. The entire place was illuminated by a reddish light. At a table, the woman picked up a violin which she toyed with, tuning it by ear.
At last we are done with our task. It really did not feel so important as to take the two of us to complete it. Any group of newborns could have defeated that sorcerer. We did not need two archons. He was a fool, and that child of his was not worthy of much attention.
No task is too low for our cause, Antoinette, for our mission is pure, and we must give it our hearts and minds. The sorcerer was strong and he had to die, but our mission was not only one of reaping.
Ivan, you are too lenient if you feel your time is not better spent on matters other than kidnapping women and murdering cretins.
You are powerful, Antoinette. Very powerful. I do not remember a Nosferatu like you at such a young age. It's not been long since you received the gift of Babylon.
I am a child of the progenitor of my house. He was the very first of his blood to arrive here in Dreadford, one of the Nosferatu who instituted the tower in this city.
I know, my dear. I was there and saw it all happen. Those were promising times. The word of the founders being brought into the new world. But tell me, where is he now?
The woman remained in silence.
You lost your sire too early. You know little about our history and purpose. Despite your power, you lack experience. I have some time now before my assignment with Akasha. Please, if you will, sit and let me tell you a tale.
Ivan said while sitting and waiting for the woman. Antoinette stared at him for a few seconds and put her violin on a nearby table before she sat near Ivan. The preacher began by quoting the Book of Enoch by heart.
And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness. And they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Semyaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, Armaros the resolving of enchantments, Parakijal astrology, Kokabel the constellations, Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds, Arakiel the signs of the earth, Shamsiel the signs of the sun, and Sariel the curse of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven.
Antoinette paid attention to the names of the angels, their divine ancestors, as it was taught inside the tower. She also knew their fate for such transgressions.
And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire, and heal the earth which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the Watchers have disclosed and have taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel.
After quoting the book demonstrating his intimate knowledge with the sacred texts, Ivan moved to his sermon.
The Book of Enoch tells us about the Watchers, angels sent from heaven to guard over humanity. Eventually, these Watchers fell into temptation and sinned. They had offspring with the daughters of men, the Nephilim. The books spill a lot of ink into those who are descended from a mortal woman, but we came from another group. The Watchers also practiced secret arts and magic. They used their heavenly knowledge to make experiments with the very nature of the beasts of this world. One of these experiments was to mix the blood of earthly creatures with their own angelic blood, creating monsters that populate the legends of men to this very day. They created hybrids, mortal beasts with heavenly origin. Our Nephilim receive just a single throwaway line on the books and are rapidly forgotten. It suits us. It keeps mortals oblivious to our nature and to our affairs. The miracle of our conception happened in old Babylon, where the first vampire emerged. The first one of our kind was the founder of House Dracul, Tiamat. She was a queen and student of the arts of Samyaza, the angel who taught sorcery to mankind. Through years of study, she realized that by using the sacred blood of the angels, she could not only live forever but acquire immense power from it. But the Watchers were sent to a hole underneath the desert, punished by God. The only angelical blood that remained on earth coursed through the veins of giants and eldritch beasts. The giants on those days were very rare, but the beasts terrorized the outskirts of Babylon ferociously. A dragon burned villages, a dire wolf stalked the plains, a giant sea serpent sank ships, among many others. Their legends live to this day in one shape or another. She led a cult of men and women to bring back the blood and heart of the dragon. Many thought it an impossible accomplishment, but they succeeded. In a ceremony at night, the queen ate the heart of the beast and requested to be exsanguinated, instructing her peers to pour the blood of the dragon in her mouth when she had no more human blood inside her, during a specific ritual she had developed. They agreed and followed her instructions, and when the angelic blood coursed through her body, she woke again, transformed. The merging of mortal and Nephilim into one came with unexpected results, for their spirits were cursed to hunger and thirst, but were not able to take food. We came from the blood, and blood was the only thing that could satiate our kind. That is why our appetite for it is boundless. Soon, the other members of the party repeated the process, because now they coveted something more precious than gold: immortality. The legend says as such: a queen and a dragon became the founder of House Dracul. A nobleman and a snake became the founder of House Basilisk. A hunter and a wolf became the founder of House Volkos. A wise man and a owl became the founder of House Ashkari. A seductress and a eagle became the founder of House Strix. A criminal and a bat became the founder of House Orlok. A prophetess and a raven became the founder of House Morrigan. A magistrate and a spider became the founder of House Moroi. A diplomat and a black cat became the founder of House Pantera. A warrior and a sea serpent became the founder of House Leviathan. Each one of them was a mortal who managed to merge with one of the Nephilim. Soon they made Babylon into their domain and delivered the gift of Babylon to those who were worthy. Together, they created Nosferatu Utopia. Later, through trickery and deceit, another founder emerged. A warlock and a scorpion became the founder of House Sirkala, and he opposed all the other founders. Their struggle is the stuff of legends, and that age is considered our pinnacle by all of us, the golden age of the Nosferatu. The crowning achievement of these times was supposed to be the Tower of Babel. Its construction started under the auspices of our founders, but unfortunately it was never finished. Catastrophe struck Babylon and the tower was lost. Our entire kind was embroiled into dark, tumultuous events, and Nosferatu were spread far and wide to the corners of the earth. They mixed with distant mortal peoples and cultures, and our founders were lost to us. For 100 years after the fall of the Tower of Babel, chaos and destruction plagued our kind, and few of us managed to escape it. Nosferatu numbers dwindled, and after just a century there were very few left who had seen the days of Babel and the founders. If the Tower of Babel was not meant to be physically completed, our kind would at least achieve it in spirit. In 2091 BC, a huge gathering of Nosferatu first established an alliance and order which received its name in homage to Babylon. This is when the tower began. A gathering of single-minded Nosferatu with the intent to rebuild what was lost with the Tower of Babel, to keep alive the teachings of the founders. Each place the tower emerged, it followed a similar pattern. A hierophant or high priestess, who is responsible for our leadership and guidance, anoints a group of archons to embody the principles and virtues of old Babylon. These archons take over themselves the duties assigned to them and shepherd the other Nosferatu. The Sebastocrator serves as advisor to hierophants and archons, bringing to them specialized knowledge so they can better serve in their roles. The tower is defended by groups of warriors who train night after night for their sacred role. For 2,000 years, everywhere, the tower worked to bring back the ways of our founders even without their guidance. Each hierophant or high priestess poured over all the lore about Babylon that could be salvaged from the times of chaos. During this time, the tower started to resemble each of the cities and people around the old world. There were as many towers as there were cities where Nosferatu dwelt, but every one of them was united into a single objective. This was the way of our kind until the court emerged and started our struggle for the soul of Nosferatu existence. A struggle that continues to this very day and has crossed over the ocean to the New World. Here in Dreadford, a tower was formed during the 18th century by an alliance of Nosferatu with the intent to expel the newly formed court from the city and take over it. In the beginning, we had only 3 houses with us. 3 Nosferatu who made their way from the old world here to Dreadford, accompanied by their children. My sire Andrei Dulka from House Dracul, Nineveh from House Strix, and your sire Gaius the Lucius from House Basilisk. Not one of these original progenitors lived to this day, but as the struggle continued, new houses joined our cause. New Nosferatu came to our side and started their bloodlines. Beatrix van der Hoven from House Irkala, Hector from House Leviathan, Oppenheimer from House Morrigan, Obve from House Horlock, Elsa from a different bloodline of House Dracul, Farah from House Moroi, Luke from House Agnus, and our current High Priestess from House Ashkari. As you can see, now we have more houses at our side than the wretched King's Court. We are on the cusp of ridding the city from their moral weakness and corruption. But we must not allow ourselves to grow arrogant and indolent, because yet still our victory lies at the other side of a hard-fought struggle. My purpose now, Antoinette, is to deliver from the fires of destruction as many of our kind as possible. There are those inside the King's Court who can listen to reason and be brought to our side.
I have heard some of this before, preacher.
Why don't you come to one of the sermons?
I'll think about it.
They were interrupted by a young woman who entered the chamber smiling with glee.
Ivan, you can't wait to hear what news I bring from the inner bowels of the King's Court. Oh, you are busy.
As if there is something you don't know, Akasha.
I will have to tend to the intelligence report now, my dear.
Antoinette got up and left.
I am delighted to report that the whole Volkos assignment is complete. On another note, there is this new Nosferatu.
She amused herself by pondering how a strong Nosferatu like Ivan allowed such beliefs on folklore to besmirch his pragmatism. Maybe it had some use to motivate those who lacked the proper impetus. However, it could lead to valuable personnel spending so much time wondering about a long dead and forgotten age. She would always keep her focus where it mattered, at the present and at what is yet to come.